So from your own activist social justice agenda, and in response to reading Yarn Spinners, where do you find these three women fit into the movement or pattern of people who brought about the change of consciousness in Australia that took it from isolationism in the mid-20th century and to the outward-looking country that we see today? Where would these three women be today, and what would they prioritise to redress? What would they write about?
Well, they'd probably write it. Well, first of all, they'd probably be on my side. Oh, and Marilla's, and probably the rest of you. And what would they write about? Well, at present, it seems to me, particularly since the advent of Trump as President of the United States, they'd be swamped with options. And I'm not talking about the crassness of the man. I am talking about the destruction of social constructions which have been built over many, many generations, not only in the USA, but also in this country and other countries which have been want in the past to call themselves democracies, where people, well, in very recent times in Australia, have been accustomed to egalitarianism. I have been a strong critic of egalitarianism in this country, and that's been a theme of mine through many, many public lectures that I've given. First of all, because of the way in which the Indigenous people, of whom I am one, have been ignored in the grand picture of this country, and secondly, because of the way in which women have been treated. And in some respects, especially, let's say, take an example from Henry Lawson, read some of his stories, and you really understand how some women, including women in his family, of course, have been treated no better than my people were treated. But what we are confronted with nowadays is this huge reaction against Trump and what I refer to, if you'll excuse me, the forces of evil. And when I say that, I mean it with all, the strength of my inner being. The manner in which they have systematically, already from the very first day, I think from the day of inauguration when he was signing any number of executive orders, which were striking at the very heart of democracy itself. People were protesting, so they were being...
Women especially.
Absolutely, that's right. The women, because of the horrendous statements he made about women as women.
Sexism.
Thank you. Marilla and I are going to do a duet. Is that okay? I'm sure you won't mind. But it's true. Women marched in their millions, as you know, and not only in the USA, but also in Canada and other parts of the world, including here in Australia. And so that was a huge thing. And then attacking the legal institutions. Now, being a lawyer, I have as many criticisms of the legal system, and in particular the judiciary, as anybody has. But I have to tell you, our circumstances in a society would be far worse if we did not have an independent legal system which can oversight executive government. And Trump tried to destroy that within a matter of days, if not hours, of his coming to power. So I don't know how these three women would write. I think they'd be overwhelmed.
I think they'd organise they got those international networks going. Miles Franklin, as far back as the First World War, sending a delegation from America to the Women's International League for Peace and Freedom at The Hague. She had the networks, she had the women that she could contact, and and she actually could do an international pull together. Now we've got digital media. Don't you reckon we could do more?
Well, actually, I think digital media, in some respects, has made these issues more difficult to deal with. Yes, I mean, communication was much slower, but in my view, it was much clearer. And I also think that the various strands in society were more clearly delineated than they are today. And if you're on Facebook, as I am, which is only a very recent sally on my part, because members of the family were posting on Facebook, and I thought that was a great way to keep in touch. I am horrified, just in recent months, at the extent to which it's very, very difficult to sort the chaff from the grain. And I mean, in one paragraph, somebody who you might have known in the general sense through media and so forth, or even through general contacts in the community, might have been regarded as, well, you know, a reasonable person to deal with. But then some of the things that they post on social media, and they seem to think that there's some kind of, I don't know, some kind of a balloon or some kind of a shell around them that people are not actually going to find out about them, or to read and react to things that they put out there. I think that's actually very difficult for people such as those I assume to be here tonight to deal with.
It lets you connect very quickly with people of like mind too.
Yes, that's true. But it's not so easy, however, to start to generate the kind of responses that that Miles Franklin did, for instance, in her day. However, I have to say this, at the same time, it can spark protests that quickly, as we saw some months ago in Melbourne, and as we saw, of course, when Trump was elected to the position. But just put social media in its context, those responses have come very slowly, in fact. Initially, social media was just a fun thing to do. Like, it was a bit like once upon a time you used to ring up your friends just because you had a phone that, you know, you'd ring the little handle and connect, and just to say good morning, how are you going, you know, come around for afternoon tea. I can see the pluses and minuses in it. At present, and don't forget, we only have to look at Obama's presidential campaign. He was the first one who used social media in a mass way to generate his campaign and get it going, especially amongst young people. But we also have politicians in this country using social media to try to basically put us in our place. And you know, when it comes to Trump in the USA, frankly, I would not be surprised to hear that he's called out the militia and the National Guard and anybody else who wants to put on a uniform and actually get behind.
So we're actually into an anti-war mentality now, aren't we, with Trump at that point? And where would Dymphna and Florence and Miles be? Their anti-war fights were very widespread. I mean, Dymphna helped bring the Hiroshima panels to Australia. She addressed conferences of 200,000 people across the USSR, anti-nuclear. And you know, that wasn't support Russia, that wasn't supporting Russia because they were equally nuclearly trying to arm up. That was just to try and generate peace. How would they try and generate peace today as women collectively?